And good afternoon, everyone. This is KC9VKV. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running with very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 3,200 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we'll be running our 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically, And in addition, we're running our newer number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. As we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. As we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I'd appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, with all that being said, let's open it up and see who's out there. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. I can't pull that call sign out right now. Station, do you have a pretty good copy on me?
Station, do you have a pretty good copy on me?
Yeah, if you need some setup assistance, I can go ahead and give you some notes if you would like that.
I can go ahead and give you some notes if you would like that.
So I'm just setting up my new antenna. And I got 3 trying to see how it's working.
I can't quite pull you out. You're about 2 dB over the my Georgia SDR, but you know the articulation aspects of your modulation might need to be reviewed. So that's what I was saying. If you have a copy on me, maybe I can give you some notes, and then you can crank them in and try come back a little bit later or whenever you get the notes cranked in. First thing would be to be sure that you're transmitting in that wide transmit bandwidth 100 to 2900. 100 to 2900 on the transmit bandwidth, Roger?
2900 on the transmit bandwidth, Roger.
Okay, and by the way, we're on 7188. You might check your transceiver for that frequency. Sounds like you might be just a little bit high. 7188, roger.
High. 7188, roger. Yeah, 7188. That's what I have it in.
Ah, well, now that sounded better. Didn't sound quite as chipmunky as it did in the beginning. Okay, so the next step would be in your processor compressor. Turn that on and give me about a 3 on your compressor processor, and you can take notes on that. Compressor processor on at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, just a third of it, depending on how it's labeled, roger.
100, just a third of it, depending on how it's labeled, roger. Roger, I'm not exactly sure what that means. I can look through my menu and see if I can find that.
I would go ahead and make notes. I would make notes right at the moment. The next is probably one of the most important adjustments in your transmitter, and that's your ALC adjustment. So with the ALC meter on and your mic hand on that mic gain control, adjust your mic gain to 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter as you say the word audio, and don't stress that word, just say it as you would say any other word in a QSO, audio, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running 7 or 2/3.
Is running 7 or 2/3.
Did you copy that station?
Did you copy that station? Yeah, I'm adjusting my mic gain.
Roger, just bring that mic gain up until your ALC meter is running 7 or 2/3, depending on the radio.
Depending on the radio.
Roger. Now, once we do that, then we would go into your equalizer tone control board, and we need some more top end on your audio. That's the one thing also that we need, because boost in your audio, treble audio, will really help being able to understand what you're saying. So I would go with +4 on the treble EQ additional from where you are. +4 clicks additional treble EQ boost from where you are. Roger?
Treble EQ boost from where you are. Roger? Roger that. I will find that.
Do you happen to be familiar with your tone control or your EQ board?
Your tone control or your EQ board? No, not really. This is a new radio, and I'm relatively new to this sport.
Okay, so if it's a 3-band, what you want to do is keep your mid-range flat. That mid-range control should be flat, because the whole idea of an equalizer is to strike a balance between the treble and the mid-range and the bass and the mid-range. That being so, ICOM doesn't even put a mid-range control in their equalizers. They just put a treble and a bass control and leave the mid-range control fixed and non-adjustable, and I think that's just beautiful, because we want that to be flat. And if you need numbers on that, that would be from 400 hertz to 1.5 kilohertz, 1.5 kilohertz, and that's the mid-range, and we want that flat. And so the ideal push frequency, if you have that capability of adjusting your frequency, treble EQ frequency, is 2.7 And then if you just have a treble boost, it's about 5 clicks of treble boost. And on the bottom side, the magic roll is probably about -2, somewhere around -2. If it's adjustable, make that 200 -2, and everything below 200 just to take on out maximum attenuation. Roger.
Attenuation. Roger.
Roger that. I'll find that. Hold on. This is Yaesu FT991A.
Okay, let's go around the horn one more time, see if I can get a better copy on you. So tell me about the best thing you like about your radio in about 15 seconds.
The best thing you like about your radio in about 15 seconds.
First base station, a end-fed wire antenna in my backyard. And I just got that hooked up, and I just got it hooked up so my girlfriend doesn't have to duck when she walks underneath it, which is nice. I'm sure she'll appreciate that. And then it's really fun. My coworkers are about 150 miles away, and they're hammering it too, and maybe I can we can talk to them.
Roger. Okay, I just went to my Kentucky SDR, which is located on the Indiana side. I'm sorry, it's located on the Kentucky side, up around Cincinnati. It's on the Kentucky side of the river, up around Cincinnati, and I've got about 5 dBs above that SDR noise level. So I've got a better copy on you. So while I can, why don't I get your call sign? Come on back with your call sign.
I get your call sign. Come on back with your call sign.
Kilo Delta 8, Sierra November Bravo. Name is Mike, operating out of Saline, Michigan.
Okay, Kilo Delta 8 Sierra, what was the rest?
Okay, Kilo Delta 8 Sierra, what was the rest?
Sierra November Bravo.
Sierra November Bravo, Roger. And what radio are you running there, Mike?
Bravo, Roger. And what radio are you running there, Mike?
This is a Yaesu FT991A.
All right. Well, let's see here. On that, on my Kentucky SDR, like I say, you're a 5 dB over their local noise level. And that's the best signal that I've been able to find to copy you on. Roger.
Been able to find to copy you on. Roger.
Roger that. That's about 200 miles. That's pretty good.
Yes, sir. And I think if you crank in those other numbers, particularly those numbers on our EQ that we suggested, I think you'll be sounding a bunch. It's such a correction that after you crank in your tone control or EQ signal, what we talked about, I would go back to my ALC and reset my ALC level, because that will have shifted after you make your adjustments, Roger.
You make your adjustments, Roger.
Roger that.
It's more affected by lower frequencies, that at 200 cycles, and that -2 at 200 cycles is just a starting point. We may get down there to a -5 or so, maybe even more than that. Probably would be a great thing if you wanted to check in, after you cranked in all those numbers. Join us next Friday or whenever, and we can make the final adjustments on the EQ. Roger.
Final adjustments on the EQ. Roger.
Roger. Can you give me your call sign?
Roger. Call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Name is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we're located down around Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger.
Side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger.
Roger that. And thank you for taking time to help me today. Roger.
Yeah, so it's always kind of interesting when I can't really copy this station and I'm trying to get them to just do notes, and then I, at a later point, find a better path. It's so refreshing. Now, also, Mike, we have been recording, and if you want to hear your audio, particularly after I found a better copy on my my Kentucky SDR, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. This will be cut number 1 in a series of 3,200 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and we'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow.
Have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow.
Well, thank you very much for that service. This would be very helpful for me.
Yes, sir. And then, yeah, and you can see maybe that where we do that little more articulation in your audio to help be able to hear the words more plainly, particularly in low-level situations where we have a lot of traffic noise, QRM and stuff that degrades your signal. We want it to be as easy to understand as possible. Roger?
Easy to understand as possible. Roger?
Yes, that's a very good practice to take up. Thank you again.
Roger, and is that a hand mic that you're using right at the moment?
Roger, and is that a hand mic that you're using right at the moment?
Yes, it is. It's just a mic that came with the radio.
Yes, sir. Best way to run that mic is pull it to the corner of your lips and talk across it. Do not talk directly into it. Pull it, actually touch the corner of your lips and talk across it. Roger?
The corner of your lips and talk across it. Roger?
Roger that. Doing it as you advise, does that make a difference?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clean as a whistle there. You know, when you work directly into those mics, you do tend to create a lot of self-induced QRM, mouth noise, and plosives and all kinds of stuff. But when you worked it just that last way, it was just perfect. Roger?
Just that last way, it was just perfect. Roger?
Roger. Well, now I really learned something useful today. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. It's indiscernible whether you're running a hand mic or another any other kind of mic. You can't tell because there is no audio mouth distortion working it that way. So very good, Mike. Let me say 73 to you, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. Again, if you get a chance, join us next Friday, and we'll take that EQ on in from the numbers that you've cranked in. Roger?
And from the numbers that you've cranked in. Roger?
Roger, 73, and have an excellent weekend.
Yes, sir, Mike. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio or you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio or you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Delta 9, Whiskey Zulu Charlie.
Kilo Delta 9 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
9 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Delta 9, Whiskey Zulu Charlie.
Roger, Whiskey Zulu Charlie. What's the name there?
Roger, Whiskey Zulu Charlie. What's the name there?
Name here is Matthew. I am in northern Indiana, north central Indiana.
Roger, Matthew, and why don't you give me about 10-15 seconds. Tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around for a better path for us, Roger.
Let me look around for a better path for us, Roger.
USL waiting for about 10-15 seconds.
I need for you to talk for about 10 or 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system. So, you're generating a signal for me to look for.
So, you're generating a signal for me to look for.
QSL, sorry, you're kind of in and out. I have a hooked onto a Zygu G90 at 20 watts. I'm getting set up for campground at the campground. Set up for campground at the campground at the Channel Lake State Park here in Indiana. Going to be doing the World POTA weekend.
Roger, Roger, Matthew. Okay, what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Matthew. Okay, what radio are you running today, sir?
That'd be a Zygu G90, a Zygu G90.
Always suspicious of radios that start with X. Roger.
Suspicious of radios that start with X. Roger.
QSL, I'll tell you what, this has been the best radio I've had. I've got a $1,200 ICOM, I've got a $1,300 Yaesu, and this $500 Zygu is better than any of those radios have ever been, even at 20 watts.
Roger, so you're running that barefoot at 20 watts, Roger?
Roger, so you're running that barefoot at 20 watts, Roger?
QSL, barefoot at 20 watts.
All right, you might check a couple of things just to be sure that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. I'm sure you are, but you might want to check and verify that you are in that transmitter 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. Roger.
100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. Roger.
QSL, looking like I am from everything that I see.
Yes, sir. Okay, the next step would be, does that radio have a compressor processor?
Does that radio have a compressor processor?
It does have a compressor on it. If I do that, it starts to get hard to hear.
Repeat?
Repeat?
Yeah, gosh, Matthew, did you say you start to get hard to hear if you put the compressor processor on?
It start to get hard to hear if you put the compressor processor on?
QSL.
How is that? Is that in receive or transmit?
How is that? Is that in receive or transmit?
Receive. I don't hear anything when I'm talking.
Well, you shouldn't hear anything when you're talking. Yeah, you don't want to hear anything when you're talking, because that just adds garbage to your transmitted signal. You want it. You don't want to hear your voice coming back at you. You want to be just as clean as you can get your studio when you're transmitting. Roger.
You can get your studio when you're transmitting. Roger.
QSL. Well, I'm sitting out here in the middle of the woods. So I'm doing it the best I can with what I got, and I've talked all over the world with this radio so far. So am I coming in weird to you, or what's going on your side? Also, where are you located at?
We're down around Louisville, on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. No, the only thing I'm saying is that if you have a monitor, if you're monitoring your voice through a speaker that's coming back into your microphone, you have a tendency to get a chain echo going there. But anyway, you want your voice to be just as clean as possible, and you don't want anything coming back into your microphone when you're speaking but you. Roger?
Back into your microphone when you're speaking but you. Roger?
QSL, as far as I know, I don't have anything. No one said anything before.
Roger, Roger. So you shouldn't have, you shouldn't be listening for, I mean, you know, the compressor processor is a transmit feature. It's not a receive feature. It's a transmit feature, and you shouldn't even know when you're receiving that you have your transmit compressor processor on. Roger, Roger.
But compressor processor on. Roger, Roger.
QSL on that. I guess the compressor button on the front of the radio, I guess I don't know what that does then.
Yeah, that's compression processing is a transmit function. It's not a receive function, by and large. So I'm sure that's That's a transmit function. Anyway, if you have the capability of putting your processor compressor on at a 3, that would be the ideal. That's what we have found. If you get hotter than a 3, you start to get a suck-up between the words. So as far as working right on the words, a compression processor on at a 3 does just beautiful. And you get past that, and then you start getting background suck-up as you speak. Roger?
Start getting background suck-up as you speak. Roger?
Roger, roger. I press the button. Does that change anything?
Well, give me. Why don't you tell me about something so I can listen to your audio for just a little bit? Tell me about the antenna system that you are currently using.
Currently,
It's a homebrew inverted V, cut to 40 meters, and on a collapsible telescoping fiberglass pole. It's what I've been using for all my POTA activations.
Roger, sounded good. I would run it just like that. I'm not. Do you have any notes? Is that just an on or off, or can you adjust that? Is that just an on or off compressor processor, or can you adjust it?
To be honest with you, I have no idea. Every time I've pressed it, everybody complains about the audio, so I've always left it off. I'd have to read up on it and see if that's adjustable or not.
Wow, it sounds really good to me. And your RF level, might need a little help there. That's the way I look at it. Do you have an ALC meter on that radio?
Affirmative, and when I'm talking, it's about 20.
Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what that is, but we want to make that about 2/3 of your ALC meter, 7 or 2/3, whichever comes first. Roger?
7 or 2/3, whichever comes first. Roger?
QSL, yeah, there is no way to adjust the ALC through the mic. The only way to adjust ALC is when I run digital format with this. Otherwise, it's an auto ALC.
Well, usually your mic level controls your ALC level. If you're in sideband, your mic level will determine the ALC reading. As in, if you were to adjust your mic hotter, the ALC meter should go to the right more. Roger?
ALC meter should go to the right more. Roger?
QSL, that is... my gain has always been up on this. If I turn it down, it just bottoms out. If I go from 10 to 9, which is one click down from max, it goes to 100 automatically.
Roger. Well, the whole idea is to find that sweet spot on the ALC, which is on a normal radio, it's between, a 7 or 2/3 of meter deflection on the ALC meter. That would be considered the sweet spot. And you would adjust your mic level until your voice pretty much hits that quite often. That's called the sweet spot. And as you would say in a QSO with nothing else to do but look at your ALC meter, you would be adjusting your mic level just a little bit or whatever it takes to keep your voice in that mid-range to 2/3 area on your ALC meter. Roger?
To 2/3 area on your ALC meter. Roger?
QSL. Yeah, like I said, if I have it maxed out, it hangs right about 20-24 constantly. If I bump it down one notch, it instantly just flatlines at 100 and doesn't change no matter how I change my voice or where I hold my microphone.
Okay, well, wherever you've got it now, I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter, and it looks to be about 3 dB, and that's where we usually try to put folks at about 3 dB, which means their average percent of peak modulation is around 80 to 85%. And 3 dB is chosen because we need some life in that audio. We can't just straight line it, max up against the wall, because that's more difficult to understand than anything. One of the worst things you could do. So with 3 dB, you do have a little life in your audio deflection, but it is quite a strong audio signal. Roger.
But it is quite a strong audio signal. Roger.
Roger that. Like I said, all I did was just turned it back up 1 notch after I tried it, so I'm back to what I was originally. And I don't know if it's conditions or what.
Yeah, well, gosh, I would run it just like that. I mean, after listening to you for a while and taking into consideration your power range, that you're always going to be in a difficult situation with that reduced power. And I say that tenderly because I understand, your situation, but 100 watts is always going to be, a little bit hotter than your 20 watts or whatever. So I'm just saying that you want as much audio in your signal as you can possibly get, and I think you've got it right there, Roger.
Signal as you can possibly get, and I think you've got it right there, Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, like I said, my other 100-watt radios I don't take out just because I need the extra battery when I'm out here in the wilderness, but that's why I got the Zygoos for doing this stuff.
Yes, sir. And if you want to hear your audio, we've been recording. And if you want to hear that radio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, it'll take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
3200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Roger that. Thank you very much, and appreciate the time. I'm going to go ahead and bounce because I've got a couple more things to do before we get going on this photo activation. So thank you for your time. Thank you for the QSO, and we will probably talk to you very soon. This is Kilo Delta 9, Whiskey Zulu Charlie. I'll be clear on your final.
Roger, Roger. Name there is Matthew. Is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger. Name there is Matthew. Is that a Roger?
USL.
Roger, Roger, Matthew, 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KC9VKV, WA8OPR, WA8OPR.
OPR, how's it going?
OPR, how's it going?
WA8OPR, WA8OPR.
Roger, Roger, OPR, how's it going, sir?
Roger, Roger, OPR, how's it going, sir?
Oh, just fine, Tim, just fine. Appreciate you coming back to me. I had an old rig I just repaired in a TS440 Kenwood. Your signal is just superb. It's 25 over S9, just constantly that way. I just wondered if this old 440 sounds halfway decent. Back to you, Jim.
Yes, sir, I can hear that. Sounds like a mute switch on your audio tail end of each word. What did you call that? What is that?
Oh, I have no idea. See down a bit. There we go. It's probably my little solid state amp kicking in and out, Jim. Over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what it is. Sounds really good. Let me see. What's your location?
Farmington, Michigan. Farmington, near Detroit, suburb of. Over.
Yes, sir. And what's that radio?
An old Kenwood TS440. It's probably, 35, 40 years old. Over.
Roger, Roger. Now, you might be just a little hot into your ALC. Why don't you check that magic word is audio or just mic then till where your ALC meter is running 2/3.
Roger that. Audio. That's about right, Jim. Over.
Yes, sir. And let's see, what mic is that you're running?
Electrolytic. ICOM SM8. Over.
Okay, back off about 2 inches additional from where you are. About 2 additional inches from where you are.
Okay, there we are. We're backed off quite a bit. The electrolytic It can run hot sometimes, Jim. Over.
Yeah, so that sounds a lot cleaner, and it's not as bunched up as it was before. So I would run it just like that. It's got a little life to it. It's not fully compressed, like up against the wall, like it was earlier, but it does have a little life in it, but it does really sounds good and very intelligible, Roger.
Well, thank you, Jim. Needless to say, your signal is superb. I wonder if you can give me a signal report down there near Louisville. Like I say, we spent a couple hours restringing antennas. Wanted to see how we're doing, over.
Oh, yes, sir. Now, I've got you on my local antenna. That's a 7300 running on a dipole, a resonant tuned dipole antenna, and you've got to be 15 over. I mean, things are really quiet, Roger.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you're excellent. Well, that's all I wanted to check out, Jim. I just had to go through some circuits and fix some areas, and I guess I did okay. Back to you, Jim.
Roger, Roger. Now, it sounds like there's something happening there, and I'm not sure what it is. It's right, I think it's right towards the top, the max out on your signal. I'd go ahead and check my ALC again and make sure I'm just at the 2/3 point on my ALC, Roger.
I turned my little brick amplifier off that I made, and we're running 100 watts now. Probably all that went away, over.
So, but, it's just a good idea to every once in a while check that ALC meter to be sure you're at that 2/3 point. Roger?
I got it, Jim. Yeah, there we go. Hold on. 2. All right, I think, it depends on my voice inflection. I got it. Well, thanks, Jim, for the courtesy. I do appreciate it. Back to you.
Roger, like I say, I spent a lot of time looking for the word to use to set up transmitters, and I found the word audio spoken just as you would speak any other word, and the QSO generates a multitude of harmonics on a spectrum analyzer. It's just across the board as far as tonality on a spectrum analyzer, and it just makes an ideal word to set up on. So just the first part of that word, just the audio part, and with mic gain in hand, and then adjust for 2/3 on your ALC. Roger?
Oh, I got it. I will definitely use that. Always appreciate your courtesy here with the service you render every Friday. All right, Jim, 7-3 to you. Thank you very much. KC9VKV.
Roger, OPR 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And as always, if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that'll take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,200, and we'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Got it. Your last letters are Victor Kilo Charlie, right?
Victor Kilo Victor, Roger.
Victor Kilo Victor. Okay. I got it. Thanks, Jim. 7-3 to you.
Roger, sir. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo 4, Tango Kilo Whiskey.
Kilo 4 station, you come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Kilo 4, Tango Kilo Whiskey.
Tango Kilo Whiskey, Roger, and what's your name and location?
Name is Andy, and I'm in the very southeastern corner of Tennessee.
Roger, Andy, and what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm running a Flex 6400M and a Neumann PLM 102 microphone. I just put in line a Heathkit 200, and I'm thinking everything's good to go.
Roger. Well, let's just check a couple of things. First thing is to verify that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. Usually, most radios come from the factory that way, but every once in a while, it doesn't. And you could be running a long way before you find out that you're not in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth, which allows your transmitter to operate as best it can on the upper end, because when you start running in those lesser frequencies, then you're actually rolling off the top end of your audio, and there goes the neighborhood as far as articulation. Roger?
It's running 100 to 3,000.
Roger. Now, 3,000's all right, but you'll be knocking on somebody's door fairly easy. That's why we recommend 2,900. And it gives you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. So the ideal thing is 100 to 2,900. Roger?
Roger. I rolled it down. Rolled it down to 2,900 there.
Yes, sir. And then we check usually our compressor processor, and we're shooting for about a 3 on that. Anything over a 3 tends to suck up, and we don't want a bunch of suck up of noise and trash between our words. So we suggest that the compressor processor on at a 3, or a 3 out of 10, or 30 out of 100. Roger?
Okay, I didn't even have the processor turned on. I clicked it on there, and it's just, you've got a scale on this flex. It goes from 0 to 25, and it's going up to every now and again, just past the first mark.
Yes, sir. Just very light on the compression. And then to your ALC meter. And I know that flex has got a different thing than the ALC meter, but we're looking for a close to max out, but not max out. Right up there against the wall, but not over the wall. And that ALC meter and the gain will determine your limiter. The ALC, the audio. It's a long story, but when you adjust your mic gain and you're looking at your ALC meter, that's actually the limiter for your radio. Now, there's two things. You have that compressor processor compressor part, and then you have the ALC audio into your ALC adjustment, and that is the limiter part. And when you push, you're pushing the audio just a little bit, but it's just fattening up against the limiting aspects of your ALC circuitry, and you just want to take it up close to the top, but not over the top. Roger?
Yeah, it goes up to, it don't. It gets close to the top, but not all the way up to it.
Yes, sir. That looks good. That's good. It's about a 3.5. I'm looking at your audio VU meter tied to my 7300, and I can tell by the way the meter hangs as to what your compression level is. If I had my VU meter tied across a PA system, and you were talking on that PA system, we would say that a voice unprocessed has a dynamic range of about 10 dB, and my meter would be flapping all around. But since we're talking about compressing that and getting it fuller by reducing the 10 dB to about a 3 dB, then my meter starts to move more slowly at the top and hang a lot more. And you're probably at about 4 dB or 3.5 dB dynamic range, which is really good. It's about 80 to 85% average peak modulation. Roger?
Roger.
So how do you like that radio?
Oh, I love it. And I've had it for quite a while. I've had the 6400, and I still get around playing around in it. I've talking on 80 meters, and I've just now got this little SP200 refurbished and painted the way I wanted it, and hooked it up here on 40.
That's the SB200?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that's a beautiful amp. I've got an SV220. I just love it. It's just absolutely clean as a tack.
Oh, I put a black faceplate on this one and stripped the case down and painted it black, and it's sharp.
Yes, sir. Now you play AM on the with the big boys on that radio?
No, huh? I have heard they do good on AM, though.
Yes, sir. Around on that low, what is it, 120, 160 meters?
Well, there's a group on 80 meters that runs AM net every evening. I can't remember, 3880 something. I can't remember what frequency it is.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the one lower than that. You know, they really jump up on that frequency. They idle at 25 watts and modulate to 3,000 or something.
Yeah, they get carried away a little bit.
Yeah, I love power for quietness, you know. But you know, when you do something like that, you've still got noise. You've got some audio punch, but you've still got noise. I come from a commercial background. When you know, 5,000 watts or whatever it is X amount of quieting, and that radio is quiet, you know, within the range of the station, I guess.
So you think the audio sounds okay on it?
Oh yeah, it sounds really good. I like it. And if you want to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,200, Roger.
Alrighty, I appreciate you. I'm sure there's people waiting, so I'll let you get to them. KK4 TKW.
Roger, Andy, 73, sir. You're sounding really, really good. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Still can't pull the call sign out, but if you're interested in some transmitter setup, the first thing is to check your transmitter to be sure it's in that wide TVW 100 to 2900. Roger.
TVW 100 to 2900. Roger.
Rig is a homebrew rig, and it's pretty much flat from about 130 to
Roger. Now, this is not the EQ. This is not the EQ. This is your transmit bandwidth, your TVW transmit bandwidth, 100 to 2900. Is that a newer radio?
100 to 2900. Is that a newer radio?
Yeah, I'm sorry, station, you may be too light right at the moment. Might be something that gets better later on, or you know, maybe next week. If I come up to you in a little while, then try me again. But right now, it's just too light to copy. I just need just a little bit more to be able to copy you, Roger.
Need just a little bit more to be able to copy you, Roger.
I understand, yeah, I took you back on and turned it off, and your signal's up about 1 F units, 1 I'll try again some other time. Thank you, W83 TFS.
Roger, now, if you happen to have a few hundred watts in the closet somewhere, that might be a different story, Roger.
Watts in the closet somewhere, that might be a different story, Roger.
Right now, just running 50 watts. That's about all I can talk up right now.
Okay, now, here we go. Is that a Zygu?
Okay, now, here we go. Is that a Zygu?
I just say that because, you know, that sounds like, you know, a situation. Could you get to 100 watts? Could you get 100 watts out of that radio?
Could you get to 100 watts? Could you get 100 watts out of that radio?
I'm at 50 watts. That's all I can do.
I got you now. I really got you. I could hear you that time. Why don't you give me your call sign one more time, slowly, phonetically, Roger?
Why don't you give me your call sign one more time, slowly, phonetically, Roger?
Whiskey America 3, Tango Foxtrot Sierra, WA3TFS. Name is Jim.
Roger, Tango Foxtrot Sierra, is that a Roger?
Roger, Tango Foxtrot Sierra, is that a Roger?
Yes.
And what was the name?
And what was the name?
Name is Jim, Juliet, India Mike.
Why, that sounds familiar. Hey, that's my name. And Jim, what's your location, sir?
And Jim, what's your location, sir?
I'm in western Pennsylvania, right south of the city of Pittsburgh.
Boy, that PASDR is in terrible situation now. There's 2 or 3 carriers in there on this frequency. It's just unbelievable. I'm not using that SDR. That would probably be the best one for you, but there's just too much garbage in that area right at the moment. And Jim, what radio are you running?
In that area right at the moment. And Jim, what radio are you running?
This is a homebrew transceiver, Jim.
Homebrew, is Roger?
Homebrew, is Roger?
That is correct, yes.
Wow, now that takes guts. That takes real guts to decide to build a homebrew transceiver. Boy, oh boy, I wouldn't even contemplate that. So I give you all the kudos in the world for having the ability to be able to do that, Roger, Roger.
Having the ability to be able to do that, Roger, Roger.
Well, thank you for your comments. Yeah, I have built most of my equipment here. I've probably got 5 homebrew guys. And I've got an SDR and homebrew and a couple of SDR receivers that are homebrew as well. And yeah, you can see it on the website, WA3TFS.com. You see a bunch of pictures of a lot of my stuff here. And also on CRT, there's a lot of big features on there as well.
Roger. Now, just out of curiosity, do you have a selector for your transmit bandwidth? Can you go in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth, Roger?
100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth, Roger?
Adjusted slightly, but most of it's hard-coded in there, but I can change the bandwidth here a little bit. My maximum bandwidth that I have here is about 2.9 kilohertz.
Right. Well, this is 100 to 2900, so it's just that bottom end that you may be off just a tad. But it does sound pretty good. When I can hear it, it does sound pretty good. And we do want to do 29 at the top, so that gives us just a slice of daylight before we go into somebody else's conversation, Roger.
Daylight before we go into somebody else's conversation, Roger.
Yeah, I did widen it out a little bit if you can notice anything there.
29 is about the max that I would want to see because, anything past that, it becomes very easy to be irritating to somebody else's conversation. So I really like that 100 to 2900 TBW, Roger.
I really like that 100 to 2900 TBW, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. I think 2900 is it. In most situations, does that radio have an ALC meter?
Does that radio have an ALC meter?
No, it does not.
Did they ever show how to put one in? Because, you know, that's just about the only way to set modulation is by way of your ALC meter. It's very difficult to set a radio without referencing the ALC meter reading. Roger?
Not referencing the ALC meter reading. Roger?
I understand. Yeah, this radio actually puts out 5 watts, and then I'm running it into an external amplifier that takes 5 in and puts out 50.
Roger that, roger that. Well, you know, it sounds pretty good. I can't hear it quite good enough to be able to suggest what we might be able to do. Does it have equalization in it? Does it have EQ, our tone control capabilities?
EQ, our tone control capabilities?
The circuitry is just hardwired for the response that I was looking for when I built it. There's no real adjustability in there without changing components.
Roger, roger. Now, the mic that you're using, is that a hand mic?
Roger, roger. Now, the mic that you're using, is that a hand mic?
Actually, it's an old hand mic from a Midland nautical radio that's probably 40 or 50 years old.
Roger, roger. Okay, well, the best thing would be to take that mic and bring it to the side of your lips. Actually, touch the side of your lips and talk across it. Do not talk directly into it. Bring it up and talk. Touch your side of your lips and talk across it. Roger.
Bring it, touch your side of your lips and talk across it. Roger.
All right, that's what I'm doing right now. Sound any better?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have a lot more mids and bottoms, and I can understand you a lot better now. Roger, roger.
And I can understand you a lot better now. Roger, roger.
Very good. I'll use it this way then from now on. That's good tip there.
Yeah, I would run it just like that. Maybe just, yeah. I think that's the best way overall, because you avoid any kind of mouth noises, which can contribute a lot of QRM, where the person is actually QRMing themselves by working that microphone straight in. You want to work it across it, touch the corner of your lips, Roger.
And you want to work it across it, touch the corner of your lips, Roger.
Very good. Well, thanks for the tip. I'll certainly do it that way from now on.
Roger, roger, Jim. Well, gosh, just if you want to do another a test, if you got just a moment, do you have a control for your mic? Do you have a mic level control on that radio?
A control for your mic? Do you have a mic level control on that radio?
No, again, it's hardwired into the radio.
Roger that, roger that. I thought we might be able to just play with the audio level and see if we could stand a few more decibels of modulation before it fell apart and then back off to where it was clean, you know, and just try to take advantage of everything we can to get that radio audio down the road, Roger.
To get that radio audio down the road, Roger.
Yeah, I've got one of my other radios here. I've got a commander built into it, and I can adjust the compression and gain on that. But it's not hard. And this other radio, let me see, that's hooked up. That one has a little bit different audio circuitry in it.
Well, Jim, I think you're doing an amazing job with that radio the way it is. You know, you're up there, and even if you were running 100 watts, that would be only another 3 dB capability or thereabouts. So I wouldn't even worry about that. You know, I think if propagation is there, you're going to make it on 50 watts as well as you'd make it on 100, Roger.
You're going to make it on 50 watts as well as you'd make it on 100, Roger.
Well, that's what I figured. I do a lot of... So it's not to kill the battery too quickly. And I do operate a lot of QRP. So it's nice to have
Roger. Well, we're running a homebrew condenser microphone into an ART preamp, into a third octave equalizer, into a SV220, up to a resonant tuned dipole antenna. It's our setup there, Roger.
Full antenna setup. It's our setup there, Roger.
Sounds very good. I was thinking about playing around with an electret microphone for this radio. Handheld microphone that has a bad element in it. I was thinking maybe putting an electret in there to give it a try.
Oh, yes, sir. You're running a dynamic microphone right now?
Oh, yes, sir. Are you running a dynamic microphone right now?
Yeah, right. It's like a 50-year-old dynamic.
Oh, yeah. I would toss that thing in the trash can. Get yourself a electret element. Get that DC in there. And then I have a thing for those little electret elements, and I call it my crisper. And it is, if you know what a phono jack is, you know, it's got a sleeve, rubber sleeve on it, round rubber sleeve that goes over the jack. And I take that rubber sleeve and I take a razor blade and I cut off the part in the front, the round part in the front. And that just slips over the microphone, and it lets me have about 1/4 of an inch of round surface around before the microphone is there, the electret microphone. And what that does, it shapes. It's a passive equalizer that shapes the audio on a rising curve from 1 kC up to about 6 or 8 kC, and by 8 kC it's plus 10. So it's like a EQ plus treble EQ plus adjustment on that microphone. So then when you take that microphone with that little crisper on there and then put you a foam windscreen on it, and you can use any microphone, just put a foam windscreen over the top of it there, and that little crisper in front of the electret microphone. Oh boy, you used 1,000%, Roger.
Microphone. Oh boy, you used 1,000%, Roger.
Let's give that a try. I've got a stack of, I think I got about 20 of this electret. Could be something interesting to try anyway. I use a handheld microphone because it's better for portable use. As I said, I do a lot of portable and battery power operation. This radio is about 5 inches wide, about 7.5 inches deep, and about 4 inches tall at the face. And nothing really special about it. I actually used one of my receiver designs. Most of these have been published in QST over the past several years. I've written several articles in it. And anyway, what I did on this one is I used my receiver and then I just tapped off various portions. I used the gold crystal filter and the IF and all that, and just switched in one of my boards that an output stage there, 2-stage output, and that's the transceiver.
Roger that. Well, that crisper, like I say, really helps, because if you don't have any onboard EQ gear, that will really help you immensely. And it shouldn't be too tough a circuit to figure out. You just need to block the DC for the electret element from getting back into your radio. So just a NP non-polarity capacitor to block that, and then take your audio wherever you need to, wherever it needs to go. But you don't want the DC power coming back into your preamp there. You could use an outboard preamp. Might be simpler. Just if you were to get like an ART preamp that has a built-in power supply, phantom power supply for condenser microphones, and then you could go from balanced to unbalanced into that, which would really work fine. And then it's got an unbalanced output, line level unbalanced output, which could be neat going in. You'd have to probably make an adjustment for the input level sensitivity of the microphone that you're using now, which is probably like -50. You probably want to get that at -10 for line level in, Roger.
You want to get that at -10 for line level in, Roger.
I probably won't use anything outboard on this because, I like to keep things compact and portable. But I'll build it into the microphone. I'll give it a try there. Plenty of room inside the microphone station. Get rid of the dynamic element, put one of the other little ones in there.
Roger, or you could take a mic that's already got an electret element in it and just get the plug that plugs into your Zygu or whatever, and then Siamese that wire into your mic, that's got the electronic element in it. I do that a lot. I'll use one mic jack to get in the radio, and it'll have like a little pigtail about 18 inches, and then I'll just cut in the other microphone, and it's fairly easy to wire that way, except in your case you probably don't have a normal DC voltage on your mic circuit to make condenser mics work. So you would have to get some DC on that line. Roger.
To get some DC on that line. Roger.
No problem. I've got a 4-pin microphone connector on this, and I'm only using 3 of them. I can very easily tap into the radio somewhere and pick up the DC voltage that I need.
Yes, sir. Somewhere around there. Or, you could put a 9-volt battery inside your hand mic and, be able to use that for, many, many months, because it's only active when the mic is keyed. So, you could think about that. Anyway, Roger.
So, you could think about that. Anyway, Roger.
Yeah, that's all good ideas. So I don't want to hold you. It might take a minute to get in there and check out the radios, and I do appreciate you keep calling. Because it's very useful. Maybe I'm asking it tomorrow to do.
All right, Jim 73, sir, if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
3200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Okay, I'll do that. Could you give me your call again?
Roger, it's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. KC9VKV. My name is Jim Juliet India Mike, and we're located around Louisville, Kentucky, on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, Roger.
Kentucky, on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, Roger.
Very good. Yeah, that's what I wrote down here. I wasn't quite sure if I was right or not. Okay, thanks very much, Jim, and we'll catch you again sometime. KC9VKV, WA3TFS.
Roger, Jim 73, sir. And now I'm gonna go up and play some of the garbage coming off my PA SDR, so everybody can get a good copy on that. Going up to my PA SDR. Oh, gosh. I might have been off frequency a little bit there, but even there's garbage. Even when I got on the right frequency, there's still garbage there. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Shout.
KW4EX.
EX, come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically.
EX, come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Kilo Whiskey 4 Echo X-Ray.
Echo X-ray, Roger, what's the name there?
Echo X-ray, Roger, what's the name there?
The name here is Gordon, and I'm located about 40 miles north of Atlanta at Lake Lanier, Georgia.
Ah, roger that. Gordon, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger that. Gordon, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Today is the Anon 7000 DLE.
Ah, roger that. Well, gosh, if you would, I got a pretty good copy on you now, but on my Kentucky SDR. But if you would tell me in about 10 or 15 seconds about your antenna, I can go around the horn and see if I can find even a better path for us, Roger.
Go around the horn and see if I can find even a better path for us, Roger.
Roger that. Located at my home here in Gainesville, Georgia. Feet off of the ground, fairly level, and it seems to be about the best antenna that I've got. I also have an in-fed half-wave antenna, 80 meters, which will work on this frequency. However, this seems to give me better performance. Go ahead.
Oh, beautiful. Gosh, I got you on my local antenna. That's a 7300, and it's not any kind of noise reduction or any kind of stuff like that. It's just as clean a receiver as you can get. That receiver in very low RF level in the front end, so low I can't even use my S meter. But your audio signal is just beautiful. You have a beautiful bottom end and a nice top end there. It's very well balanced, and you're about 20 over, Roger.
Roger. Next time you talk, I will take a look at my S meter and give you the signal report. I'm broadcasting with a low cut of 90 cycles and a high cut of right at 3K, but the edges should be pretty sharp because I am running pure signal. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. What kind of mic are you running there?
This is the Electro Voice RE320, and I had you about 5 over S9.
Roger, Roger. You've got a windscreen on that mic?
Negative, I do not.
I would put one on it. The crowning glory of a beautiful signal would be a nice little foam windscreen over that microphone that would just minimize any possibilities of mouth noise. Roger?
Roger that. I can give that a try. I don't have one at my fingertips, but I'll try it out later today.
Yes, sir. Just, you have an outstanding signal right now. It's just beautiful. I just detected a couple of little transients, nothing major, but a foam windscreen would just take those out. Then you can work that mic fairly liberally, however you like to do it, Roger.
Roger that. So you think the signal is fairly well balanced EQ-wise? Go ahead.
Sounds very good. I would put just a little more top in it, maybe a couple or 3 dB click a boost at, I don't know if you can get it, but 2.7 is the ideal push frequency. If you can get that, that would be the ideal push frequency. Otherwise, just 2 or 3 clicks of treble boost, Roger.
Okay, I'm giving a little bit of a click. Actually, I've got 2.8, and that went up 1 dB.
Yeah, it's gosh, the 2.7 is just perfect because it's where it can do some good. Can you have like a 4 wave shape? Can you shape your EQ?
Yeah,
let me change the setting to 2.7. Okay, that dropped the boost from 28 to 2,700 cycles.
Yes, sir. And let's see, do you have a shape control? Can you give me a four shape on that 2,700?
No, it's basically a 10 position EQ.
Yes, sir. Some of them have capabilities of what I'm talking about is the width of that EQ to where it broadens out the EQ point, so the EQ point isn't so sharp, and it just broadens it out, and like a 4 or 5 or something like that. Some radios have that. I didn't know if you had that or not.
No, I can change the setting. I can set another slider at above that and or below that. Where do you think it should be increased or decreased?
Well, God, it sounds really good like it is, frankly. I just use a 4 to keep it from getting peaky. You know, the 4, you're headed for roll-off on the top end anyway, because the radio is going to roll off anything past 2.9 or 2.3. It usually starts rolling those off if you're in a 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. So I don't usually worry about anything on the top side of that. And I just try to, like I say, use a 4 just to keep it from being peaky. But I think that sounds really good right there, Roger.
Okay, well, I'll leave it alone. Actually, I do have a little bit of a boost going at 2K and as well at 2700. Now I could raise that 2K if you think that elevation is a little bit low.
Well, usually what I suggest is get as flat as possible from 400 cycles to 1.4K. Just flat or off or flat through the mid-range. And that avoids any kind of peakiness there. And then when you do your thing on the end, if you use like a 4, you can subtly roll that off. 200 is a magic frequency on the bottom side. I would go on the bottom side. I would go 200 minus 4, and everything past 200, I would just take it right on out, fade it right on out or off. Faded off, attenuated off. Everything under 200 cycles. So you're in the 200 cycles on the bottom side, minus about 2, and then on the top side you're at that 2700 plus 4 or whatever, and kind of flat through the mid-range, Roger?
Yeah, actually I do have a little bit of a boost going on, starting at 1K. I have a 1 dB boost, and at 2K I've got about a 2 dB boost, and at 2700 about a 4 dB boost at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds just a little mid-rangey, but very cutty, and very high degree of intelligibility, Roger.
Yeah, I can cut that 1K boost down just a tad bit, and actually I can cut the 2K boost down 1 dB if you think that would help.
Go ahead and let me hear it that way, just out of curiosity.
Okay, I did a little cut on the 2K and the 1K.
All right, and then go down to your 200 cycles minus one more click attenuation. So it'd be like minus 3 at 200 cycles. Everything below, the next one's below 200, like 100 or 50 and 58 should be just panned out, attenuated, Roger.
Yeah, I think probably I've got a pretty much natural roll-off there, because I do have a low cut, pretty sharp edge at 90 cycles. But anyway, that dropped, actually the set point is 250 cycles that I have on the equalizer, so I did drop that 1 dB.
All right, you're a little bit sharper in your audio curve than what you were when you came in. But, you know, I try to consider all of the things that can happen to a radio signal between here and there. And one of the worst things is where Mother Nature bends back the signal more than one place. And you start, when it comes down, half of it comes down out of sync with the other half, and you start having phase angle cancellation, and it always starts at the top end, so, and works its way down. So when that happens, and you lose the top end of your audio, and if you have a heavy bottom end, then it's like Mr. Mumble's time, Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, I don't normally do a lot of DX work, so hopefully most of the signals that most of the communications that I'm doing are for RAGCHU and probably fairly local. So hopefully I'm not going to be experiencing that too much, but every now and then the bands do go kind of wonky, and I have had that occur in the past.
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, it's amazing. I've noticed something even like 15 miles away. You know, our signals by and large travel skywave, even on a like 15-mile or 20-mile basis. They're major, maybe skywave versus a ground wave a lot, Roger. So that phase angle cancellation can occur almost anywhere at any time.
Roger that. Yeah, okay. Well, so do you think basically the audio sounds pretty decent at this juncture?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got plenty of top to, you know, you could even lose some and still sound very nice. And I would go just like that. If you want to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Oh, roger that. Okay, give me that web address again. Did you say it was KC9 Victor Kilo Victor?
Yes, sir. KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search, Roger.
Roger that. I will check that out. And how far into the recording do you think this will be?
Towards the end, because I'm getting ready to bail out right now. So, you know, it'd be towards the end of that. And later on, I usually bust these long QSOs. We do an hour-and-a-half show. And later on, I usually bust them up and bust each conversation out separately so I can put a call sign on it. Like right now, when it goes up as a long show, there are no individual call signs because the title is, you know, I just can't get all those call signs in the title. So, but later on, I'll break it up and put individual call signs on individual conversations, Roger. But right now, this long one, it'll be towards the end.
Okay, real fine. Well, I certainly do appreciate your help today, and your comments are greatly appreciated. So with that, we'll say 73s and hope you have a most wonderful weekend. And this is Kilo Whiskey 4 Echo X-Ray.
Roger, Gordon, and get that foam windscreen. I think you'll just love it. It'll be the crowning glory for that audio signal. 73, sir. And with that being said, we got to get out of here since 3:30. We've been broadcasting and recording, and if you've participated and want to hear your signal, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. And with that being said, we've got to get out of here and return this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV, clear.